Hi my friends, this is lesson 3 of our Beginner Volley Series. I'm Coach Tom, this is iplaytennis.com. I want to thank you guys for coming and checking this out today. We're talking about that volley, and now really what we're doing is we're getting into kind of how we recover and how we move in between our shots. Okay, so we've learned how to hit the volleys. Level 1, lesson 1, we kind of talked about that real easy punch volley. In lesson 2, we talked a little bit about getting down to that ball, dropping our racket head. And those things are going to stay the same for this lesson 3. All we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of movement and a little bit more understanding about the volleys. Okay, so the first thing, and I'm going to have a drill in here. I'll get my friend Coach Emily out here. We'll do a little drill. If you guys think about this, volleys, you've got about half as much time to respond to the ball as you would if you were back on the baseline. So you got to be a little bit quicker. So that recovery becomes huge. And a lot of times I see pros teach volleys where they're talking about this crossover step and this punch and all this stuff, and they forget the key component, which is that recovery, right? So we want to have integrated recovery in our volleys. And it basically just means that you're getting yourself back into position quickly, right away, ready to go. Okay, so if I'm back here volleying, right, and I hit that volley, I'm not just going like this. That's not a volley, right? I'm not ready for my next one, okay? I've got to get here, I've got to hit that volley and recover. Okay, so the idea of integrating recovery into your swing, into the actual shot, that becomes a huge thing. And again, when I do that drill with Emily, you guys will see it'll be pretty quick, pretty rapid fire. You have to get that recovery back and ready to go. Okay, so a lot of this, you guys, it's just about being quick. It's about being up on your toes and ready to move. So the integrated recovery, again, looks like this. So I'm here, I'm in ready position, I turn and I volley, right? And you notice I'm back in position. I'm not hitting here going, boom. What's going on, right? You're gonna miss, right? We gotta go volley, recover, volley, recover. So make sure that you guys include that recovery as a part of your volley. It's just like turning, it's just like the punch. It's gotta be a part of the volley like everything else. Okay, now the other thing, you guys, volleys are not about hands. I hear this all the time. It's a little frustrating, but you hear a lot of people say, oh man, he's got such great hands. She's got such great hands. She's really, really great around the net. My theory is that if you're relying on your hands to make good volleys, you're not really in position. You're not really set up. If I'm here, that's not going to be a very good volley, right? And I'm going to have to rely on my finesse and my hands to actually make that ball go where I want it to go. Versus this, right? The volley's in the same place. I've just moved my feet, right? So if I get a volley and I kind of just do this stuff, I'm not going to hit a great shot. I'm not going to be able to control that ball and aim it where I want it to go. But if I can move out and get myself into good position using my feet, then I'm going to hit a good shot. So remember that volleys are controlled by your feet, not by your hands. The better your feet move, the better your position's going to be, and the better that volley's going to be. Ideally, we want to have that volley along, we want to make contact with the ball in our volley along what I call our power point, right? So if I'm turned, right? Basically, imagine there's a straight line coming straight up from the middle of my chest. That's where I want to actually make contact with that ball, right? If I'm like this, that's not real powerful, that's not real strong. If I'm too far out in front, that's not real powerful or strong. I want to be right there kind of in that center, right? My power point. That's a really, really great way to make sure that you guys are hitting good, solid, controlled volleys. And it comes down to moving your feet into position. Okay, so that's it. The volleys are the same. It's going to be a little bit quicker. I'll show you guys that drill with Emily. We'll work on our quickness. We'll work on our footwork and our recovery. The last thing, you guys, a lot of times, you guys, we see open court and we think, oh, I got to hit the ball into the open court to win the point. That's true if you know how to hit that shot, and that's a big if, right? There are a lot of times where we don't have that shot, right? If I'm standing right here and I've got to hit the ball over there, but my body's like this and the ball's over here, that you can see I'm not going to hit a good shot. I don't care if that court's open or not. I don't get to hit it there because I don't know how to hit that shot successfully, and it's more likely that I'll miss that shot than make that shot. Okay, so don't be afraid to hit that ball back towards your opponent. I'm not saying to it, I'm not saying give them some little meatball that they can just kind of tee off on, right? Use a little bit of height, use a little bit of depth, try to get that ball into their feet, whether they're at the service line or the baseline, but directionally, you can hit that ball back to your opponent. You don't have to hit every single shot away from your opponent. This isn't some big game of keep away, right? Hit shots that you know how to hit shots that you are successful with, okay? If I'm playing against you and I can force you to hit really uncomfortable shots that you're not very good at and miss a bunch of them, well then I'm doing my job, I've won, right? So don't be afraid to hit back in the direction of your opponent if that's the only shot that you have at that given time. Okay, and that's the last thing, you guys. Make sure that if you do have opponents that are further back, add a little bit of height, right? We're gonna lean that racket back just a little bit more maybe. We're gonna add a little bit of punch. And you notice when I add punch, I'm not standing still and slapping at the ball. I'm actually gonna punch, right? So if I wanna hit a shorter volley, I might be there, but if I wanna hit a little bit deeper volley, I've actually gotta use my legs a little bit more. And now, because I'm dropping the ball, there's a little bit bigger backswing. You won't really need that when you've got an opponent, but the idea is that you're using a little bit more of your leg drive to create that depth into the court. A little bit more open strings and a little bit more drive with your legs. Okay, that's about it. Let's check out this drill and see how it goes. My friends, get out there and practice this stuff. Don't forget to send me your comments, send me your questions, what your thoughts are. We got to work on this stuff together so that we can build this game, build our game, and enjoy this game a little bit more. I'll see you next time.